What's happening, guys? This is RRPG here, and I'm here to present another 2 cents video on the 2 cents block to you all. For this video, I was going to talk about my thoughts on Resident Evil 7 with the trailer and gameplay demo that's all been shown at E3 so far, but this news popped up from Bloomberg from which I cannot ignore it in any way. When it comes to games, I am hopeful with the NX doing greatly in terms of content, but when it comes to specs, it seems Nintendo still hasn't learned jack shit about why specs strongly matter, just like the games. Where am I going with this? I'm sure that most of you are probably wondering for yourselves. Well, it looks like Reggie Fils-Aime was interviewed by Bloomberg while at E3, and they questioned him so many things about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Wii U, the 3DS, and the upcoming Nintendo NX. One question in particular they questioned Mr. Fils-Aime about is if the Nintendo NX and its specs will be enough of a driving force to compete with Sony and Microsoft with their upcoming revisions of both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One because they have PlayStation 4 Neo and Project Scorpio being conceived. I'm not going to say what he said verbatim, as I'll leave that to Reggie himself.
So now you know your competitors talked about their forthcoming, the Xbox and a new PlayStation. How do you think the NX console will stack up to them?
You know, for us, it's not about specs, it's not about teraflops, it's not about the horsepower of a particular system. For us, it's about the content. Nintendo is a content-focused company. We create entertainment that makes people smile. So for us, we're focused on bringing our best entertainment to both the Wii U as well as the NX in the future. So for us, whatever Microsoft and Sony are doing in terms of talking about new systems, that's for them to fight out in that red ocean. For us, we want to make sure we're bringing our best content forward. And right now, the reaction to Zelda has been more than we could have ever imagined.
So yeah, what you saw was bad PR on Reggie's part. When it comes to hardware, software does matter because they equate to better sales of a console or handheld. On the other side of the coin, though, specs do matter when it comes to a console's development and life cycle, since first and third-party developers need to know what they are working with when it comes to the Nintendo NX. Speaking of which, this is the main reason why the Wii U flopped, and it wasn't because of the content. The content you had for the Wii U was phenomenal, and it'll definitely be remembered as an underrated console in history. However, what made it fail in many people's minds was because Nintendo downplayed the specs. They were way too focused with trying to make the Wii U gamepad as their biggest selling point. There were some great games to utilize the system's controller, but its potential was never fully utilized. I said this in other 2 cents videos I've already put out. Even AG Analyst said that the Wii U gamepad feels unnecessary for the new Zelda game, although it can be used as the Sheikah slate. Now let's take a look back at Nintendo's history, Reggie. What made the NES and SNES the popular and more welcomed brands in the market? It wasn't just because of the games, but the hardware captivated many developers and consumers at the time who just wanted to play traditional games on a traditional console. They didn't rely on gimmicks or anything in the hardware to make them substantially unique, as those gimmicks were more in line within the software, the game design, the gameplay, you name it. Nintendo 64 comes out, and what happened? Hardly any third-party support, and the console continued to use cartridges. The GameCube comes out, and what happened? No DVD player, and the extremely limited use of online made the console become an afterthought for its time, but more well-received in retrospect. The Wii comes out, and what happened? Sure, you may have dominated in sales when going up against your competitors, but most games solely relied on the Wiimote and Nunchuck to do motion controls, along with no high-definition visuals. The Wii U comes out, and what happened? The tablet seemed like a mandatory thing to continue your Blue Ocean strategy, and you don't have a streaming app like Twitch, Ustream, or even YouTube Gaming to stream your games on because you feel you don't need stronger publicity since you hardly ever market your products anymore. Not to mention, you becoming way too greedy with the whole YouTube Creators Program was also a huge misstep, Nintendo. Now look, I applaud you with trying to be different from your competitors, but you need to take inspiration from them if you want to try and stay relevant, because trying to chill in the background and remaining like you're an independent grassroots company is a recipe for disaster, since you are a worldwide company like Sony and Microsoft. You need to wake up, smell the coffee, and realize that specs in a console are just as important as the content you put out. Don't try and go for the same approach with what you did for the Wii and Wii U, because you will continue to lose more third-party support for not meeting their demands if the sales of your future hardware continues to keep sucking. You never seen Sony disregard specs on the PlayStation 2 when they were the weakest at the time, and look how well the system turned out for being the best-selling console in history. That's all I'm just saying. Careful with what you're saying, Reggie. Anyway, that's enough out of me, so what do you all think? Do you think Reggie is right that Nintendo's hardware should be more about the games and not the specs? Or do you share my same sentiment and feel that specs are just as important as content? If you feel that specs are not important, then let me know why. Be sure to rate this video as well as leaving your feedback down in the comments. Also be sure to hit that subscribe button underneath this video, as more support from you guys will mean that more content is coming from me in the future that you won't find anywhere else. Until next time, this is Double RPG signing off by saying Godspeed and game on, gamers. Thanks for watching.